What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the MMA camp. Today, let's get started. Robert Whittaker makes a prediction regarding the forthcoming rematch between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. He believes that Sean will have to drastically alter his strategy if he wants to prevail this time. Rob simply doesn't believe Sean can pull that off, and he sees the battle going something like the first one, in which Dricus prevailed by split decision.
If we look at their last fight, Sean lost as the champ, okay?
Yeah.
How does his second fight play out differently, right? And granted, it was controversial, but he lost the decision as the champ. If this fight doesn't change in any drastic way, he's not the champ, you know? And I just don't know what Sean does differently. Sean fights the way he fights. I don't know how he fights differently than he did in that first fight against Dricus. And I don't see Dricus fighting any differently against Sean. If anything, and you saw in the Israel fight, he's gotten better. He's gotten better at his wrestling, at his pressure. He's obviously had those 5-round fights to adjust and acclimatize to it. Yeah, I don't see how Sean beats Dricus.
Shara Bullet defeats Michael Venom Page at UFC Saudi Arabia. The bout is expected to continue standing because both guys are predominantly strikers. Shara Bullet has never attempted a takedown in his UFC career, and this weekend, he has no intention of altering that. He claims that he will be the first to force MVP to attempt a takedown. In an interview with MMA Junkie, Shara stated, "He's a 10-time kickboxing champion with light contact kickboxing. I'm a Russian Muay Thai champion. I fought in stadiums in Thailand and other places. I have the status of master in sports, in different fighting categories, in different fighting sports. I have better striking. I have better cardio. I think when we're in the octagon together, there's going to be nowhere for him to run. That's different because these kickboxers, they usually just fight for points. They lightly touch, they tap, they slap almost. But when it comes to Muay Thai and Lethwei, the folks who do those types of sports, they kick and hit so hard as to break a bone of their opponent. Every punch and every hit could be a fight-ending punch. I've had 20 fights in MMA at this point, and I've never went for a takedown. I watched his fights. It doesn't look like he goes for takedowns too much. But I'm going to be that person. I'm going to make MVP be the first one to jump for a takedown. It shows that I'm one of the best strikers when it comes to the middleweight division or the welterweight division. I'm going to show when it comes to my striking, there's no equal to me in this fight. On my side is the strength, the power. On his side is the speed and the movement. As for the knockout on February 1st, all I'm going to say is, do not blink. Just watch the fight. You want to see it. You don't want to miss anything. Alex Pereira still wants to take on Jon Jones. Although they have spoken, Alex claims that he and Jon are not buddies. He believes there is less to gain and a much greater risk if Jon fights Tom Aspinall. Alex stated in an interview with Ariel Helwani, which Pinho Cruz, his coach, translated, "I'm the champ. I want to fight the champ. Let's make the fight with Jon Jones." Before Jon's last fight, we actually talked about fighting. More random talk, not too much about fighting. He's not a friend or someone I talk with on the regular, but someone I respect. I know he respects me, and there's mutual respect. I think Jon wants to fight me because of the momentum and the risk. It's a risk fighting Aspinall. There's not a lot to gain there. It's another title fight, but fighting Alex is a much bigger achievement. It's a bigger fight. We saw the fight with Stipe later. It was an impressive win and an impressive performance. At UFC 313 on March 8th, Alex will defend his light heavyweight title against Magomed Ankalaev. Alex disputes Magomed's latest claim that the UFC coerced him into accepting the match. Alex went on, "Ankalaev says the company tells me what to do, but I'm the one that asked for the fight. I'm the one that came there and said, I want to fight Ankalaev now." In response, Magomed accused Alex of lying. He wrote on X, "This is number one." He tweeted a month ago he's fighting someone else. The UFC told him he's fighting me. Now he wants to make it like he wanted March 8th. You'll get it. He followed up by saying, "Alex Pereira, don't lie. You didn't ask for me. It was a dead-end street. I'm going to eat your heart." Michael Bisping responds to the embarrassing GFL trailer. A film displaying all of the athletes they recently signed was published last week by the new MMA promotion GFL. Most members of the MMA community thought it was really cringe-worthy, and it seemed to have been created primarily with AI. Paul Felder and Michael Bisping concurred that it was cringe-worthy. They also questioned the source of the money used by the GFL to give these former UFC fighters such enormous salaries. According to Tyron Woodley, who recently joined the promotion, he is being paid the same as elite boxers. Felder and Bisping question how long this can go on.
Hey, listen, cool? Sure. Cringe a little bit.
Big time cringe, Michael. Big time cringe. Not cool. Not cool.
I saw it and I'm like, what's going on? And then Rebecca was like, it looks like AI. They've definitely... it's not AI. I think they did actually have to clad those suits, shall we say, and get all superhero-ish. And
they better save some money for the fighters that they're apparently paying. I mean, it looks like some...
there was a few wrinkles smoothed out. They definitely Instagrammed the out of those faces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They are. I hope they all get paid. I hope they make a ton of money. You know what I mean?
Me too, man. I'm with you. And I agree with your son, too, that if it is, in fact, used in that way to then foster and bring up new talent, great. But we don't know that. We don't know that yet. So we'll see. But if they do that, then yes, smart strategy there. But let's see how long it can last, because obviously a lot of those people are going there because they think they're getting paid pretty well. It sounds like a lot of money. There's a lot of big names and a lot of guys that were making a lot of money before they left the bigger organization. So I just wonder where the bankroll's coming.
Nassourdine Imavov thinks getting past Israel Adesanya will get him the middleweight title. Nassourdine claims that Izzy is cunning and erratic, and that he does feel a lot of strain, but he feels himself as victorious. Dillon, Danis, and Tony Ferguson both just joined with the GFL. Today, Darren Owens, the inventor of the GFL, appeared on the Ariel Helwani show. He claims that Tony versus Dillon could happen. He stated, "We can make the fights that people want to see, and we're listening to everybody. Tony Ferguson versus Dillon Danis. That may be something that will come to fruition. Tony is 40 years old and currently on an 8-fight losing streak. Dillon has only had 2 pro MMA fights, and against opponents, let's just say, were not looked at as high-caliber fighters. Do you guys think Tony could pull it off if the fight happens? Post your opinions in the comments." Jeremy Stevens said he had an emotional moment a few days after his BKFC third-round TKO win against Eddie Alvarez. Jeremy said that as he considered the hardships he had to overcome in order to reach his current position, he started crying.
I've always had like the back end of the stick where people are just trashing me, you know, and like I'm like some bum and like I'm a loser. And, you know, it really hit me this morning, man. I broke down in tears of everything in my life that I've had to endure, man. It really just kind of finally caught up with me, and I shedded some few tears with my wife, and it felt good, you know, to have her support, because I think most women, some women, you know, that ain't really loyal or ain't here for the long run. This is a hard game, and she was there, and it felt good to, you know, cry in her arms and just share this moment, and just super grateful, living in gratitude.
Jiří Procházka has resumed training after defeating Jamahal Hill via TKO at UFC 300. The future of Jiří is currently unknown, but after defeating Jamahal, he stated that having the trilogy with Alex Pereira is his first priority. Today, he uploaded this video to his Instagram. He wrote, "Slow technical shadow boxing, but in the flow." Following his appearance on the Jackson podcast, Kevin Holland has received an astounding amount of negative feedback. For those of you who missed it, to put it briefly, Rampage made a joke months ago about his weigh-in pose prior to the MVP fight, which infuriated Kevin. It was heated from the beginning when Kevin appeared on Rampage's podcast before UFC 311. At one point, Kevin warned Rampage to shut the up since he didn't know what a 45-70 was, despite having stated that he wanted to fight Rampage.
Do you know what a 4570 is?
No, I don't.
Okay, then shut the f*** up.
You'll tell me shut the fuck up.
Today, Kevin shared this on Instagram. It states, "But do you know what a 4570 is? Cause that's what plays with my ego." He and Rampage are shown in the picture. Kevin captioned the photo, "Can't beat it, rock with it, 4 to 5 wins at 70, and we'll see Bucko." Got Rampage booming again, did 4570. This was then shared on Kevin's Instagram story. He wrote, "Rampage an OG for sure. I blame his podcast partner for instigation. JK all me. Should have drunk that water before we got started. Cottonmouth Kev."
Guys, it's a blast responding to all your comments. I'm getting off the getting in the shower. And just so you guys know, if you're judging me off 15 minutes of that podcast, it was 2 hours long. Watch the whole thing. I watched the last part when we were doing the mama jokes. That was actually funny. But
Kevin lost to Rainier de Ridder by submission in the opening round of UFC 311 following his appearance on the Jackson podcast. Given that Rainier de Ridder weighed 22 pounds more than Kevin on the day of the bout, several supporters recommended that Kevin drop back down to welterweight. Kevin shared a poster of his upcoming welterweight fight against Gunnar Nelson, which is scheduled for March 22nd. He penned, "Got rid of the X back at welterweight. Lock in, twin. I'ma see you all around." When Eddie Alvarez lost to Jeremy Stephens via TKO, he disclosed that he had a broken jaw. This was shared on Eddie's Instagram. He wrote, "Got hit with a kill shot in the first or second. I did my best to keep a game face and ignore it. By the third round, the damage was too much. Please understand how badly I wanted this and what I sacrificed in order to win. It wasn't my night. Bare knuckle is as real as it gets. Unpredictable, fast-paced, and violent." Conor McGregor had some encouraging things to say about Eddie. He wrote, "A warrior through and through.